Good morning and welcome to this edition of Casnetti Community Archives. I'm your host, Kaylee LaValle. Today we're going to go ahead and behind the scenes to discuss property management. So, what is property management? So, basically, a property manager is the liaison between the owner or investor of the property and the tenants that live there. So it's actually really important to have somebody who they don't always have to be licensed depending on the state that they're in, but Massachusetts is pretty tough when it comes to liability for both the landlord and there's a lot of rights for the tenant. So being, part of as an agent definitely helps with cue you in on what you can and cannot do and the right ways to handle certain situations. It's also a people job. There's a lot of different personalities and things to deal with when it comes to tenants. Some of them know sometimes more than agents do. And that's a good thing. Everybody should know exactly, how they're living and their rights to basically what they can and cannot do as a tenant. So with that, property manager just helps kind of keep the investor happy and the tenants happy. Fun parts of it are definitely getting to know like a lot of people, and as an agent, it's a good networking. So these people that are coming in, especially in our area, rent is so high right now. These people are paying more than, like, I'm a renter. I pay more than my brother's mortgage. And so these people, they are future home buyers. And, we don't want to just talk to them and get on their good graces because eventually they're going to buy a house. But, you want to also educate them just as much as they're going to educate you. And it's a good way to get to know a lot of people. And that's one of the things that I love about this job, meeting tons of people. I grew up in a small town and we knew everybody, so like getting to know like the bigger city of like Worcester and all the people in it, it makes it feel a little bit more homey, and I love that. Downsides to it could definitely be, like I said, the liabilities. You have to, and that shouldn't be a hard part, but you have to treat absolutely everybody in the same exact way. And sometimes, you get a little bit closer with somebody else. And you have to remember that. You always have to remind yourself everybody has the same rights. And when going back to the liability of the landlord in Massachusetts, this is definitely one of the states that has the most challenges as a landlord. I think it's California where, it's almost the exact opposite of Massachusetts where, we have what's called squatters' rights, which sounds awful. It's not really as bad as it sounds. It's just basically saying that, if you're not in tune with your landlord and he's trying to, kick you out for XYZ and that's not legal, you have the right to stay and you have the right to go to court and all that good stuff. There's a lot more due process with evictions and notice to quits, which, for an investor sometimes can be a downside. As a tenant, it could be a good thing. So it depends on what side of the coin you're on. But all in all, I think that it's super important that even small investors that might only have triple deckers are really big out here. You might not think that just because you have one triple decker that you need a property manager, but somebody who knows the ins and outs of the market, of the people, of the laws and everything can really take the stress off of you, B, create a better relationship between tenants and landlords, because I've had personal issues before where the landlord feels entitled to this and I'm like, I know my rights. And then I've also been on the other side when working with some of my clients who have tenants as well. But all in all is good, and it's not as scary as it sounds, especially when you have somebody that's gonna help you. Most people ask me if it's as an agent if it's worse to be more of like a property manager or dealing with rentals. I don't think so. I think a good combination of both, because as realtors, we don't always have the steadiest of incomes. You know, it comes and goes, the market's up, down, sideways, you know, you never know what it's going to be like. So when you work with these rentals, it's steady income, especially if you have a solid area that you're doing, one property that you're managing. You're dealing with the leasing, and that can be, you know, usually it's 1 month's rent here. So you know, that could be like up to a couple grand to 3 grand in some spots, you know, maybe even more. I saw this one house, it was a three bedroom, and they were asking $7,200 a month, and the guy got it. Yeah. So you never know. It depends on the person and what they find is valuable, and to them, you know, they couldn't buy the house at the time, but they could afford it, and that was valuable to them. That meant more to them than the money, and that's okay. We might be like, but you know, you never know. So but yeah, so some quick surprising facts would probably be that, let me think. Fact that's coming in this area is that there will be an incentive, because the rent has gotten to a point where it's no longer affordable. They want you to have a 700 credit score, no animals. They want you to have 3 times the rent as your income monthly. But now there's an incentive coming into Worcester that basically for every landlord who gives tenants basically affordable rent, they get incentives paid yearly to the landlord. So if they drop it, they kind of make up that income. I think it's a little bit different. We used to have a cap in Worcester per square footage. You could only charge so much. That went away probably about 7-8 years ago, and now they're trying to implement something back because the market just went crazy. But yeah, I mean, property management can be good, bad, and ugly, and great in all certain ways, just like real estate in so many ways. But it's something that I really like. I find very consistent, and I enjoy doing. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to hit the like and subscribe, and you always have access to new content from Castanetti Realty. Thank you.